Hello, audio check. Hello, audio check. Hello. Hello, audio check. 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 Hello, audio check.
மேஸ்திரி பொற்கோடி இருக்கிறாங்களா?
No. No, I'm not.
ஹலோ 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 ஹலோ
கேமரா வந்துருச்சு. கேமரா ஆன்பா. வந்துருச்சு. இது கொடுத்துட்டாங்கப்பா. ஓகே.
அந்த இதை மட்டும் மெயில் பண்ணுங்க, நான் சொல்ற மெயில். செட் ஆயிடுச்சு. ஆமாங்க சார்.
இல்ல அட்டாச்மெண்ட் இல்லையே.
வாட்ஸ்அப் வெப்ல இன்னொரு கால் பண்ணி வாட்ஸ்அப் மெயில் எப்படி
போட்டியா சைடு ஓபன் பண்ணு பாத்துருவோம். வர சொல்லிடலாமே.
Hello, audio check. Hello, audio check. Hello, audio check. Hello, audio check. Hello, audio check.
It is audible. It is audible, pa.
Evening bliss to the master. Welcome to the present moment. Here, now. The only moment there is. Here is Dr. N. Sendil, Dean SPGS, to welcome the gathering with his opening rhapsody.
Good evening to all. The most respected Dr. C. Ramasamy, former Vice Chancellor, Chairman, Noel Public School. So we welcome you, sir, for this FPO game changer in agriculture. One of the leading speaker today, you are going to talk on that. So we welcome you for this evening session, sir. I welcome today's chief guest and also former Director of Extension Education and Dean Horticulture, and presently the Chairman Agri System Foundation and Erode Precision Farm Producer Company, Dr. E. VADIVEL, sir, for agreed us to give the Endowment Lecture of Tamil Nadu Agriculture University. And also I welcome our Director of Courts, Dr. Suresh Kumar, who is the person behind the show. He has organized this endowment lecture in a very popular way. So in that, I welcome Dr. Suresh Kumar, and also I welcome Dr. M.K. Kalarani, Director Crop Management Studies, who is always supporting our endowment lecture series. So in that, I welcome you, madam, for this evening session, and I welcome Professor and Head Dr. Uma for support in organizing this endowment lecture. Apart from that, I welcome all the university officers, Dr. So here we have all the head of the departments, university officers, technical and personal officer, Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sivakumar, and also we have ABD director, we have NRM director, and also head of the departments, senior professors, and also the student friends. So those who are come over here and grace this function. Actually, the Tamil Nadu Agriculture University is organizing series of endowment lectures, that too mainly on the every weekend. So we have the different star speaker in every week. So in that, it is the third speaker, Dr. VADIVEL sir, who is having a very wide experience on farmer producer company. So we really are fortunate, sir, to have you here in this hall to deliver the Tamil Nadu Agriculture University Endowment Lecture. Our Vice Chancellor, madam, is kind enough to sanction many endowment lecture series. So in that, today, madam is in the busy schedule. He could not able to actually want to be here today, but because of his official engagement, he could not participate. So on behalf of Vice Chancellor also, I welcome all the participants and also the guest speaker and our guest today's function. I welcome you all, not only the persons here, and also we have a lot of online audience, those who are in the YouTube live, and also all the programs they are watching in different international audience, the social workers, and many people, those who are interested in producer company. So they want to have interest in agriculture. Those who are joining in online, we welcome you all for this evening lecture. Thank you one and all for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for the warmth. I now call upon Dr. M.K. Kalarani, Director Crop Management, to make us feel inco by introducing the renowned speaker.
A very good evening to one and all present here. On behalf of Vice Chancellor, staff and students of Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, I extend a warm welcome to our most respected and beloved former Vice Chancellor, Dr. C. Ramasamy, and everyone present here. It's my privilege and pleasure to welcome and introduce our most beloved and respected teacher and today's speaker, Dr. Ilayappan VADIVEL, former Director of Extension Education. Actually, when we requested sir over phone for this endowment lecture, immediately without any hesitation, he said yes, which shows his concern for our university. We are grateful to you, sir. He is hailing from a traditional farming family of Muttur, Tirupur district. He had pursued his BSc Agri, MSc Agri, PhD in horticulture at Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, Coimbatore, and served for the alma mater for more than 35 years. For the past 3 decades, Sir has made excellent contribution in teaching, research and extension at TNAU. He had introduced BTech Horticulture, a 4-year applied horticulture degree program, first of its kind among state agriculture university in India. He also introduced specialized MSc degree programs in fruit science, vegetable science, spices and plantation crops. He has successfully guided 21 PhD and 18 MSc students to his credit. As a horticulture breeder, he had developed and released 6 varieties in vegetable and fruit crops and 5 technologies in his field of expertise. And he published 221 papers in peer-reviewed journal and also in the conference. He also served in a various capacity as a Dean Faculty of Horticulture, Director of Extension Education, Nodal Officer for the Precision Farming, and Project Officer for E-Extension, and Director, State Agriculture Management and Extension Training Institute. And he was acting as a state-level consultant to collective farming project of Tamil Nadu government, covering 2 lakh farmers in 385 blocks, serving as a program coordinator of Government of India. Actually, Sir served as a chairman, member secretary, and a member in many national, state, and university level committees and professional bodies. He bagged 9 awards, including prestigious FAO award and Golden Icon Award of Government of India twice. Collaborated with the International Food Policy Research Institute, Washington, and worked with the Michigan State University, USA on supply chain management. So the ABD Directorate at TNAU was the outcome of this project to cater to needs of the commercial agribusiness clientele. His team under his leadership had implemented the turnkey project on precision farming in 1,000 acres in 28 districts of Tamil Nadu, first of its kind among state agriculture university, and proved 40% yield increase in this project in 45 crops. London School of Economics has appreciated this program as a silent revolution and a second green revolution in its website. Also, his team had developed TNAU Agritech Portal, which is a repository of knowledge for farmers and extension workers. Currently, Sir is working as a project officer, empaneled Erode Precision Farm Producer Company Limited as a resource institution under Small Farmer Agribusiness Consortium of Government of India, NABARD, NCDC, NAFED for formation and promotion of FPOs in Tamil Nadu. Along with project officer position, Sir is currently serving as an expert on supply chain management and agricultural technology to World Bank funded rural transformation project in Tamil Nadu and modernization of agriculture project in Sri Lanka. We welcome you once again, Sir. It's our privilege that we have you among us today. The national and international level students and scientists who have joined online and offline are very excited to hear your novel research ideas and thoughts, sir. Hope the participants will learn so many new aspects of FPOs and game changer in Indian agriculture. Thank you. Thank you, one and all.
Thank you, ma'am. We are sure awaiting his call. At rest, Director Cards Dr. D. Suresh Kumar is respite to imbibe the first droplets of rain.
Most respected and most beloved former Vice Chancellor, Dr. C. Ramasamy sir. Most respected and most beloved former Director of Extension Education, and one of our most beloved teachers, Professor VADIVEL sir. My friends, Dr. Kalarani, Director Crop Management, Dr. Sendil, Dean School of PG Studies, Dr. Somasundaram, Director ABD, Dr. Balasubramaniam, Director NRM, former Director ABD and currently TPO to Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sukumar sir, University officers, heads of the department, online and offline, and my dear student friends. I also join hands with Dr. Sendil in welcoming you all. And I'm happy to see you here for this endowment lecture organized by the Dean School of PG Studies. So we know that during the past more than around 7 decades of plant development, so we have achieved a spectacular increase in food grain production. So we have increased our food grain production from almost 50 million tonnes to more than 300 million tonnes during the recent past. And because of green revolution, the use of fertilizers, plant protection chemicals, and high yielding variety seeds have stepped up manifold. And the development of major and minor irrigation projects had gone up. But still, the overall gains had not been equitably shared by the farming community. Of course, there are several challenges, we all know. One of the important challenges is that almost 92% of the farmers, particularly in the Tamil Nadu state, belong to the small and marginal farmers. We can say that the agriculture in the state and elsewhere is the smallholder dominant agriculture. And in addition to not only the holding is small, there is a continuous marginalization also happening due to several reasons, several socioeconomic reasons, and a law of inheritance kind of thing. And then, so the climate variability, there are so many issues, and continuous drought, and continuous declining in the groundwater table, monsoon failure, climate variability, all these made agriculture strenuous. And already the farmers already the farmers are the resource poor. But in addition to this, all these challenges made them more and more vulnerable situation. So one very, very strong evidence is that the recent study conducted by the National Sample Survey Organization is that the average monthly income of, I'm saying in many meetings, mainly to reiterate and refocus the issue really. Actually, the average monthly income of the farmer in the Tamil Nadu state is 11,925 per month. Of 11,925, so the farmer is getting only 22% from the crop production activities. So that shows, so how bad the farmers are in the situation. And so also, so they have a poor bargaining power in terms of selling their produce, because that is dominated by, so the big farmers, the big sellers, the markets kind of thing. So in this situation, so it is the big challenge for the policymakers, the agricultural scientists, and the development personnels. What alternate policy we can think of to address these issues? One very, very viable option is the collectivization. Of course, the collectivization is a not new concept. It has been, it has been thought of even a very early period as a simple cooperative movement. Okay, and now it has been, so one of the viable options is the farmer producer organization. Even I would say to address these challenges, our Honorable Vice Chancellor is taking several initiatives. One such initiative, one such visionary and novel initiative is that the TNAU FPO linkage initiative. So that is actually the recently introduced by our Honorable Vice Chancellor. Under that program, actually we advocate, we promote one unit, one FPO concept. So based on that, actually all the units of the university, all the directorates, the departments, and research stations, KVKs are triggered to adopt one FPO for promotional activities. So I think with this background, in this situation, the endowment lecture on the FPOs, a game changer in Indian agriculture, is a very, very right on and opt on. And we sincerely hope that this, so this endowment lecture would largely benefit all the scientists who are in charge for the FPOs, all the head of the stations, head of the research stations, the department, KVKs, and the students as well. We sincerely hope that, sir. And so these small notes, so just I would like to highlight here as part of this endowment lecture. So with this note, once again, I thank our former Director of Excellence in Education, VADIVEL sir, for having accepted our request and invitation to be here to deliver this endowment lecture on FPOs. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir, for igniting the spark of thought in us. I take pleasure in handing over the mic to the most eulogized dignitary of the day, Dr. E. VADIVEL, former DEE, Chairman Agri-Systems Foundations and Erode Precision Farmer Producer Company, Limited Erode, for his lecture.
Most respected former Vice Chancellor, Dr. Sendil, Dean, School of PG Studies, Dr. Suresh Kumar, Director Cards, and Dr. Kalarani, Director SCMS, and university officers, other faculty, and my dear students. I feel privileged to deliver the endowment lecture at the alma mater in the present context of changing scenario across the country. I thank the Honorable Vice Chancellor and also the faculty organizers of this event for giving me this opportunity to share my views on the emergence of FPO on pan-India basis. Game change. That really means change of roles, change of responsibilities, and change of mandate. Just think, Tamil Nadu Agriculture University, if I spell, you understand your role, responsibility, and mandate. If I say Tamil Nadu Food University, what is your role, what is your responsibility, and what is your mandate? Whether both are same? No. So you'll have to travel beyond the field, beyond the crop, travel with the produce till it reaches the consumer, and en route it should not make any chaos. Either in the human body or in the environment, nothing should happen, isn't it? So that is the change. Then overall, to whom it properly applies, it is not necessarily all SAUs, but all the stakeholders in the supply chain in the agricultural domain. In fact, primary sector, secondary sector, tertiary sector stakeholders also will have to undergo the trimmer of change. The change happened in the past in the extension domain, research domain, and now it is in the agri-business domain. Then during 60s and 70s, the universities were generating human resource exclusively for extension. Even at the time of final examination, posting orders were issued in the hall, even without handing over your final exam paper. So that was the demand and challenge experience at that time. Then second, all the research institutions across the country, across the globe, they reacted to the demand of technology from the field. From conventional agriculture, when it was getting into commercial agriculture, the things were changed, the demand was more. The demand for technology and quality inputs. Then subsequently, the demand from the banking sector, credit sector. So the university, in course of time, changed its mandate, changed its focus, changed its approach several times. In the education front, from integrated, we have shifted to trimester and then to semester and then what is beyond. So that way, this game changer, it emanates from education, research, extension, and whatnot. combination. It's a combination of game change. It is very difficult to understand first and then act upon it next and then react to it and then see it is done, because it is the WTO era, we are coming under global trade and regulations. Say, let us look into different challenges, different kinds of challenges, then why this game is so important, why we will have to play it very perfectly. Any imperfection in our play, it is going to tell upon the primary sector as a whole. The simple concept, ஆகாறு அளவிட்டதாயினும் போகாறு அகலா கடை. All the small and marginal farmers, they buy inputs at retail rate. While they dispose their produce, they dispose it at a wholesale rate. How long this phenomenon can go without affecting the farm economy? It tell upon the farm economy terribly. Again, added to this, you think of price hike of inputs over the decades and price hike of produce over the decades. One is in the logarithmic proportion and the other one is in the arithmetic proportion. Both ends never meet. So when this is the scenario, whether our current approaches to research, education, and extension and development is going to answer, the present system of SAUs, the present system of ICR system as a whole, the R&D system as a whole, are we addressing this phenomena? So rightly, the Planning Commission of then government, 2002, intervened. What is the alternate mechanism to reverse this reverse this phenomena? How can we make our farmers to buy inputs collectively at wholesale rate, and how to sell the products and produce at retail rate? It is not a 10 degree, 15 degree or 10%, 20% change. It is just opposite change. Total reversion. Which factor could change this much drastic change? Which other factor can do this? Your policy on agriculture, your policy on industry, your policy on service sector, the holistically, if you review, you will not find a solution elsewhere to bring it here and apply. So only the option is the farmer producer organizations. So this organization with the collective strength of 100, 200 or 1000 or 2000, they can buy inputs collectively and then procure the produce, aggregate the produce at the time of harvest when the price was so low, and then keep it for some time, add minimal value or add a maximum value, brand it and directly sell it to the consumer. So this reverse is possible. That might is only with this FPO. Now, is it not appropriate to say the FPO is the game changer as far as this challenge is concerned? I think all of you will agree with me. Second, the WTO. For 1/1/1995 and 1/1/2005, 10 years gap, the buffer time was given to all the nations who have signed the GATT draft to rearrange, reorient their internal systems of production, processing, market, finance, and whatnot, schemes of development. So this period, it was most effectively used by the industrial sector and tertiary sector because they have an ecosystem called CIA, Confederation of Indian Industry, at district level, state level, and national level. And they were able to absorb the whole essence of this WTO and able to sit with the central government and state government to get their ecosystem perfected so that they can do business across the globe as duck takes to water. Whereas the primary sector, it was unattended, uncared, and left it. Whether policymakers or academic or experts, they never thought that agriculture would suffer in the WTO era. But the industrial sector and tertiary sector, service sector can go to some extent with the gallop, but once the private sector, if it keeps back, then the galloping will stop. There is an absolute necessity to take all the three sectors together, then only a country's economy can progress. So here, from the first Atlantic Charter, it's only economic cooperation. Up to 9th round, agriculture was not in the same. It was between only industrial goods. Only the 9th round, the agriculture was brought in by USA, and the level play was not there. In the industry and service sector, between countries, in the business transaction, there was a level play. Whereas in the private sector, the level play was not there. Developing country, the meaning of agriculture is entirely different in the developed countries, developing countries, and underdeveloping countries. So there was a stiff resistance from developing and underdeveloped countries, but the developed countries did not mind it, but they have brought it in. This FPO, if it is really progressing across the country through its own network of farmer interest group, farmer producer group, and farmer producer companies, and state level Apex consortium and national level consortiums, then it will acquire the might of the CAI and can march with industrial sector and service sector. So individual peasant farmers cannot face this challenge. So only the collectives, only empowered collectives, only legally empowered collectives alone can face this challenge. So here, one do or die question comes. If you allow the food to flow from 140 nations of the world into India, what will happen to our food system and your agriculture system? Instead, is it possible to make the 140 nations as our market? Do or die. So when this idea was mooted, the farmer producer company, there was stiff resistance. Resistance means different observations and critical observations. Say the farmers are illiterate farmers, this segment, primary sector, the expertise is not there. So many hell of issues. But somehow that time, the planning commission was bent upon to go in with this kind of collectives, some kind of collective, you name it, whatever way you want. Unless we do this, it is not possible to consolidate the landholding and produce collectively in larger volumes and see the quality is ensured, see the technical protocol applied was uniform so that your quality matches with that of international producers. So in that era, the category, in the post-WTO era, the challenges of food flow into India, food flow from India to outside, the FPO is the only mechanism possible. There's no other mechanism possible. See, Ashok Gulati, Director IFRI at New Delhi, he was in charge of 8 ASEAN nations. He did a study on diet pattern of the public consumers. At the end, he has brought in so much of data on how much investment has gone to retailing, how much investment to hotels, how much investment to food industry, how much investment into rest of the food-related sectors, to finally and firmly say the market is consolidated for the high-end, high-value food, while the production system is disintegrated like anything. So the entire society in all 8 ASEAN nations, particularly in India, the diet pattern has moved from cereals and pulses to meat, mutton, milk, and milk products, so on. So when the market is getting consolidated, the production end, only in the supply chain, only at the production end and at consumer end, the farmer is there. In the middle, there are several nodes played by several stakeholders. There, the farmer was not there. Unless you bridge this, unless you put the farmers in several nodes and see that supply chain is with the dominance of this farming sector, then it is not possible to meet the demand, food demand of our own country. The foods will start flowing from elsewhere. And here comes this additional issue, that is our farmers are poor, our farms are disintegrated, fragmenting year after year. The average farm holding, it comes down year after year because of fragmentation, then drought, natural calamities, and so on, and limited access to technology, limited access to credit. See, it's totally a vicious cycle in which the farmer has got. So the peasant-centric system should be 100% replaced with some sort of group farming. That was the idea generated out of this study. No more individual peasant-centric farming, no more individual peasant-centric planning, no more individual peasant-centric schemes and projects. You will have to consolidate, you will have to educate, you will have to empower the small farmers in whatever way you want. Then only the consolidated market and your front end, when it is developing, your back end supply side also will have to be strengthened. Else, the food will flow from elsewhere at the cost of your country's economy. So here, the agriculture in the ancient times, it was one thing. It is a village affair, different communities. Over the years, there was so much of changes, particularly after the WTO. The dimensions were expanded like anything. 4 more dimensions came into the scene. Till this far, what we were practicing was production-led agriculture. In the given environment, the given conditions, the given seasons, what is possible, that alone we were producing and taking to distress market. Unwinding the market, in the production-driven agriculture, the crops were produced. And then the producers and products will not match with the demand in the market. That from that domain, get out of the domain, come into the market domain, be there and study the market dynamics, local market, national market, and international market, physical market, as well as digital market, and study, and then come back to your production system, redo your approach, redo your agriculture, so that you should know to which market you are producing. So that's the second dimension, market-driven agriculture. Only at this phase we stand right now. Then there is a third dimension. In the global, after WTO, it's a globalized market. The consumers are globe-wide. So the consumers prefer different kinds in different package, different forms, but with certification. Food safety and certification, traceability. Unless you generate food with traceability and food safety systems, you cannot sell your produce elsewhere in the world. The certification system comes in. Beyond that, there is one more dimension, that is eco-driven agriculture. So whatever you do in the name of agriculture, it should not impair the ecosystem, it should not impair the health of the flora, fauna, and including human. So the 4 more dimensions emerge out of the present agriculture. And the agriculture in the post-COVID era, it was a testing time for the agriculture domain. It is not limited to the science of crops. It is not limited to the husbandry of crops. We are expected to travel with the produce, see that it is processed, see that it is passed, see that it is spent for consumption, and in the end road, it should not do any havoc with any organisms. So that much of this dimension expansion can, yes, peasant farming system respond, It's not definitely not possible. So only collectives, only groups, only empowered groups like FPO can get into this certified system of production, organized system of production, and the market-driven production. Only the FPO platform can do it. It has the might, but not the peasant-centric farming that is being followed across the length and breadth of the country. Earlier, in the first phase of agrarian society, different communities in the village, Barbers, Dobies, Bakmet, and so much of communities, they jointly supported the farmer and farmer cultivated the crop. The ecosystem was so big. But in course of time, what happened? The supporting systems slowly migrated into nearest towns and cities because so many other avenues cropped up there. Ultimately, the farmers were left alone. In the joint family system also denigrated into nuclear family, and even in the nuclear family, in the family system, only one is allowed to look after agriculture, the rest moved out to other avenues. So it was a social venture and it was a lifestyle earlier. Now, the chemical intensive agriculture it gained entry. And beyond that, after chemical intensive agriculture, it was collective farming. And in course of time, it is going to be participatory farming. So this in another direction, the changes are happening. Because of chemical intensive agriculture, the niche systems like permaculture, your organic agriculture and whatever non-toxic food system, so many systems are thrown out. Whether the peasant-centric agriculture will face this challenge and deliver, definitely it's not possible. The only option is, only way forward is your farmer producer company. Say, the Nidhi Aayog did a study. The production and consumption was equal some decades back. And then production started taking upper hand, and slowly consumption has come down because of the introduction of meat, mutton, and other non-vegetative food into the food industry. Agricultural crop consumption has come down because of so many other factors. Now, in 20s, what we face is surplus. Consumption is less and production is more. Earlier, it was deficit management. Now it is surplus management. Surplus management means you'll have to get into processing, value addition, and export. So this pressure, whether the peasant-centric farmers, can they face it? It's not possible. So here comes your precision farming, this farmer producer companies. And lot of startups, they also there in the field. Even the startups, they depend upon decision support system or digital technology system and all. And if you take the R&D globally and R&D domestically, there also the change you could see. That the R&D domestically, if you analyze private and public, the public R&D is suffering due to some kind of fatigue, some kind of retivism, some kind of system disorientation. The private R&D, it suffers due to these regulations of food safety and other policy issues. That is why, whereas globally, the technology development, it was heavily using biotech, Internet of Things, big data, and so many other contexts. So the competition in the R&D front, if you compare globally and domestically, the gap is widening. The gap is widening. So this gap, if it gets widened, then who will get the high-end technology from the global domain into domestic domain? individual peasant farmers? No. Only the FPO platform. This system can be with the global players and get technology for implementation into India. So in nutshell, the peasant-centric farming, the end card has been put. No more peasant-centric farming. In one way or other, collectives should be given trust. This is the essence of what we have been discussing this far. The peasant-centric farming, it has its own inherent weaknesses, which has been described in many papers, many write-ups, many projections. Whereas collectives, how it is going to function, how it is going to react to the R&D generation, implementation, and then value addition, and then survive along with the rest of the world in the food scenario. It all depends upon the FPOs. So what is a producer company? What is its structure? How it has been designed? So Company Act 1956, it was the first act passed by our parliament. In that, there was a private limited company, the public limited company, and partnership company, and only three categories, major categories. In the partnership company, any liability, it will affect the individual personal property of the partners. In the limited companies, the liability is limited to the assets of the company alone. So when this issue was conceived by none other than Arun Jaitley, he was Minister Corporate Affairs that time, when the industrial sector and the service sector are relying too much on this government of India and try to develop their own ecosystem to get into real business of the world, none from the agricultural domain approached him. Then he asked the then Planning Commission to suggest some ways and means to see that the primary sector is also empowered, so that this sector also will face the challenges of this WTO in the course of time. Unless the primary sector is empowered and brought on par with the rest of the other two sectors, the whole economy will not move further. So he passed the issue to the Planning Commission. Then Planning Commission assigned this task to Dr. Allah of Indian Institute of Rural Management, Anand. They took 6 months. They studied the entire length and breadth of the country with all the stakeholders, interacted, and then finally gave a nucleus recommendation. That is, in India, right now, the peasant-centric farm system is in vogue from the time immemorial. This system will have to go. In its place, a system of collective production will have to come in, so that the food worthy of export can be generated domestically, and then we can feed our mass and also face the food competition from the elsewhere from the world. That's a one-line critical recommendation passed on to the Planning Commission. Then Planning Commission examined the rest of the collectives of farmers and different names, society, association, this and that, in all 8 Asian countries, none except milk, that is Korean's model. That in Korean's model, the raw material is one. So we cannot apply the logics of Korean model onto agriculture. Here, the infinite number of raw material and producers. So they explored all the options in whatever form we can bring the farmers together, and then we go how government can give policy support and budget support, so that the foodstuffs of international quality can be generated and then get into the international market. They explored all possible options, and then finally they have come down to the Company Act. During 2002, the Company Act was first amended under Section 9A to introduce a new breed of institution mechanism, that is producer company. Only the primary producers can become the shareholders of this company. And the strength of private limited company and public limited company all brought and put in the producer company domain. And weaknesses of private limited as well as public limited, that was to the extent possible it was erased in the system. How it differs from the cooperatives? So cooperatives, 100% it operates cooperative principle. There, the JIR or the government nominee has got the veto power, and 99% of the members can vote for one resolution, whereas if it is objected by the JIR, the government nominee, the whole thing gets struck up. But whereas in the limited company system, that's not possible. It's here the majority. It goes with the majority. And then this it is a hybrid between cooperative system, the essence of cooperatives they have taken, the logics of private limited company they have taken, and then it is a combination of these two. The shares of the producer company cannot be listed in the share market, Mumbai market, whereas your public limited company shares 51% of the share, whoever is having, they manage the whole show. And the shares can be traded globally or nationally in the trade market. Whereas the producer company, the shares can be traded only within the members, that one installation. Second, more than 5% of the paid up capital, no one can buy shares. That's a limitation. Else, one person will buy 51% share and take over the company. That's not possible. A producer company can invest in producer company, and producer company can buy share mutually from any other producer company. That is possible up to the limit of 10% only. There are also the hijacking is not possible. And joint venture is not possible with the rest of the institution mechanism, only with the producer companies. So in so many angles, the system was reinforced, system was refined and put into play. The act was amended during 2002, but a guideline was issued during 2013. 10 years gap. Why? Because in the industrial sector and service sector, the variables are limited. The limited variables and equal variable, whether the textile unit is at Lucknow or Ahmedabad or Coimbatore, the variables are same, almost same. There the experts are there to deal with. Whereas agriculture, the variables are infinite. Agriculture in the northeast is one, agriculture in the mainland is one, agriculture in the south, even within the state, agriculture in each district is different. Macroclimate, macro, micro, and also the farmers' temperament, everything is different. Everything is different. So just to fix one variable in a producer company, what is the average number? 100, 500, 1,000 or 2,000. This one variable, it's not an easy thing to be addressed. Say in wherever the feudal setup is available in Bihar or country states like West Bengal, when one leader says 5 lakh masses will say yes. But when you travel to south, no acceptance. So here everybody is leader and nobody is a member. The more the awareness, then issue crops up. So what government thought between 2002 and 2013, it was legally, it was there in the law, the act, and no guideline. So as per act, many number of companies have been promoted, many number of schemes adopted this and then they have promoted, and it was a period of experimentation. After the period of experimentation, by implementation by different agencies, say NABARD, they have got financial strength, not policy strength. SFAC, they have policy strength, not the financial strength. NAFED, they have market strength, they can buy any lakh tonnage of material, but they don't have other power. So that way, the cultures of the different implementing agencies, different resource institutions, it gained entry into the system. In their own making, they have done it. to suit their project needs. This was this way or that way. It was adjusted to the court, and taking all the experiences into account, by 2020, Government of India announced 10,000 FPOs in the next 5 years with a common template. Earlier, SFPC was having one template. NABARD was having one template, all different templates. So it was all for experimentation process, just like F2 generation, allowed the whole thing go. And then now, based on the experience, it revised. Membership 750. Even the 750, not at one go. First year 300, second year 200, third year 250. Like that, every other variable was discussed, finalized, and now it has given a common template for promotion, irrespective of the agency, whether SFPC, NABARD, NABARD, or NCDC, whatever it is. But only difference is the NCDC, 100% it says you will have to form FPO only under Cooperative Act of the state. Whereas NABARD, it allows both. Either you opt for Company Act or you opt for Cooperative Act. SFPC 100% Company Act. In the cooperative setup, it was a mess. No section is unambiguous. Whereas in the Company Act, every schedule, every subsection, every subsection, everything is very crystal clearly defined because of larger interface with the industry. Whereas in the cooperative sector, the Cooperative Act of that act, it varies to state. It's not a central subject, it's a state subject. There is hell of hardship in promoting FPOs under the Cooperative Act that we are facing now. Thereafter, 2013, the Company Act 1956 was redrafted as a whole. Totally updated and redrafted, and it was put into operation. In that also, the element related to the farmer producer organization also further refined and then brought into the 2013 Company Act. As of now, it is Company Act 2013, no more Company Act 1956. And then further, in 2020, again, the amendment 2020-22 Company Act 2013 was given. There, because the WTO era, the global transaction, it had an impact on the industry and the service sector, and necessarily they had to change the rules and regulations, act, logics, the whole thing. So right now, what is in operation is Company Act 2013 with amendments passed 2020. It gives very good, vivid, clear definition of how, what is the structure of the FPO, what are all the conditions, what are all the violations, what are all the penalty. The penalty clause, it was almost 100 times it was enhanced because of the cyber fraud and international fraud, and because of the international companies' invasion into India, illegal companies into India, overseas companies into India, militant-related companies into India. Now the rules have been very, 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 very made very, very stringent. Every pie that gets in will have to be accounted. So that way it is brought in. And this here is an issue. A corporate company can understand the intricacies of this Company Act, intricacies of sections. It's a legal language. Even the legal language, even for the normal, other than lawyers, even among the lawyers, the understanding is different. The interpretation is different. How come in the farmer turned board of director can understand this? Here, we largely rely upon the company secretary and the auditor. So they are regulators. So government did one beautiful thing. Earlier, auditor can sign anything and go without punishment. So the company's affair, if the company does any fraud, it is a fraud of the company, and the managers of the company, they are booked. Now, it affects the regulator also. Now, if you want to get a signature for any document from any auditor, then you'll have to give a message. You will get a number, and below your signature, you will have to put that number. So no question of putting signature in the past date is not possible. So the regulations have become too stringent, but with all that, the producer company rules have been made simpler in drafting, and also it is easy to understand. And finally, they have given one word: whatever is not discussed in the Act, you rely on Company Act 2013. That applies. So there is no loophole at all. So in this setup, why I say it is good, the transparency and the democratic management is possible. In a board, among the 10 members, few members may object to a particular resolution. They want that particular resolution should not be passed. They can simply write, I put my dissent note on the resolution number 7 and keep quiet. When 6 members out of 10 they sign, that can be executed. One person cannot hijack this company. There are so much of inbuilt mechanism to see that it is transparent, and the business, everything, it is made so easy for the farmers to follow. The language also is not, but the penalty clause is common. Any violation, the penalty is common, whether it is a corporate or farmer producer company, the penalty is same. Right now, there are 15,000 FPOs across the country. Adding to the 10,000, it amounts to 25,000 plus. In course of time, it is going to be on the higher side. So year after, initially until 2013, till the time the guideline was issued by the government, it was in a slow process, and thereafter it started shooting up like anything. All put together, it is more than 15,000. In course of time, in any district, not less than 50 farmer producers companies will be there. Not less than. So any government schemes from any department, it will not be siphoned through the agrarian platform, whether it is health or hygiene or whatever it is. Even maybe it's an irrelevant department, but when it goes to the public, the FPO platform becomes the nodal platform for disseminating all the benefits of the scheme. So these are all, over the years, these are all the different experimentations done by different agencies. The approach was different, implementing agency was different, objectives was different, number of members were different, but irrespective of or a kaleidoscopic projection of evolutionary process of FPO, each approach you cannot reject. This is bad, this is good. So each and every approach has got its own strength and its own weakness. And in course, this is applicable for any new innovation, any new mission. So over the years, when it is implemented, the refinement takes place automatically. So till this far, this is the scenario. In course of time, it will get more perfected. And if the FPOs in the district and FPOs in the state, they have joined together and formed federation and pan-India network, it will be on par with the CAA. It will sit with the government and dictate to the government in course of time. The FPOs will dictate not only the government, the SAUs, ICR institution. If your technology fails, then I am prepared for paid technology, paid service. For the paid service, you give good, eligible right technologies. So that way, the scenario is slowly changing. So within Tamil Nadu, if you take Government of India through SFAC, it operates with 1,000 members as base. Then TNSFAC under a collective farming system, it is a 2-year project. Whereas NABARD, initially NABARD acted as a very, very diluting factor, because when SFAC was sanctioning 45 lakhs per FPO to be promoted with 1,000 farmers, NABARD gave only 9.06 lakhs. And the number also, it was not defined, any sustainable number. So in the early phase, then there was a slight dilution in the FPO landscape of India, it is because of NABARD. This point was rightly communicated to the chairman and the concerned people in the NABARD. Now they have realized, and the present template, everybody is in the line. And the different policy and the budget, though it seems to be varying between the implementing agency and between states, but collectively under two categories, policy support and budget support and infrastructure support. Terrible infrastructure support. Around 600 crores have been pumped in to construct primary processing units in 72 places in Tamil Nadu, each around with an estimate of 5 to 10 crores. For a nominal fee, the FPOs were allowed to operate. So that kind of ecosystem is now being built up. Say, if you want to measure the strength of an FPO through paid up capital, it is misleading. But the present government, the present system, the present policy makers, they go with checking the health of the FPO through turnover. The turnover, if a company gets into aggregation and marketing, the turnover is all, it goes into crores. Whereas a company involved in value addition marketing, it cannot go overnight into crores. So the policy makers should understand to the quality of the FPO, how to judge. It, not in terms of your turnover alone. Turnover need not result in profit. Higher turnover may result in loss. So here we have introduced from Erode Prisma Producer Company, we have introduced a management audit system for the companies at various stages. So financial audit, everyone knows. What is the management audit? It's nothing but ISO system or any other international certification system. They have got a protocol, management protocol. So every end of every year, this management protocol with a checklist, if they assess, so where is the weakness in the company, in the establishment, in the inventory, in the finance handling, in the business handling, in the linkages with the rest of the consumers and customers. So it has been nicely developed so that it acts as a self-evaluating tool. This tool was accepted by Bankers Institute of Rural Development, Lucknow, and it has been put in their website, and now it is being adopted elsewhere in the country for all the FPOs. Financial audit, this management audit. The management audit concept, the farmers can very easily understand. Just cross check every 3 months, just cross check, you put tick. If the mark is about 10, you are okay. The mark is below 2 or 3, there is something somewhere is wrong in the company. So what are all the areas in which we need to attend, we need to address to make up the deficiency. And again, this grant given to the FPOs, it runs into crores. So seed processing unit 60 lakhs, coconut processing unit 30 lakhs, then initially startup grant 30 lakhs. So every state, every different agency, they pump in money into the FPO system like anything. So it is not the question of turnover. So this point was studied by the Azim Premji University and then communicated to all stakeholders. And among the private universities in India, the Azim Premji University, it takes lead. So they have got a separate unit to go and travel with the FPO system in the country and give advice to the Niti Aayog. So this is the split up of various agencies promoting FPOs. And in Tamil Nadu, in the beginning of the year, it was 903. Now it should almost cross 1,000. So out of 100%, this 100 units, 20 FPOs will prosper on its own because 2 or 3 or more board of directors are having entrepreneurial skill. Where the entrepreneurial skill is not there, that FPO will suffer. Another 40%, with 1 or 2, it is surviving. The last 20, last 40, no entrepreneurial skill, just they behave like a farmer, and it is the slow phase. If you sit with the middle 40 and then bring them up, nearly 60% of the FPOs you can take along. At the last 40, they will join back after some buffer time. So here, in the management of FPO, we face different challenges. In the pilot scale business, up to 50 lakhs, they are comfortable. So when the question of scaled up business comes, the psychological challenge barrier comes in to take risk. They are prepared to take risk, but not the extreme risk. So we find as a resource institution, as a player in the FPO domain, that is the most psychological challenge, terrible challenge we face. So what is the possible system or intervention we can do? There is no other go to increase the number of enterprising farmers. So right from the first 5-year technology and up to this far, we had programs empowering the farmers technically. There was absolutely no program to empower the farmer on the management side. How to manage farm finance, how to manage farm resources, how to manage the whole show. The managerial capability from first 5-year plan up to this date, no program of the government. So that is the lacuna. That is why our technologies, however good it is, our quality inputs, however best it is, the tech is not there because the farmers are not prepared. The farmers, the managerial skill to manage the technology and manage the quality inputs, it is poor. This challenge, the psychological challenge we face now, and any other first generation entrepreneur, what are all the issues faced, the FPO also faces. The competition from the near traders in the neighborhood, the traders in the state. If we organize, then they organize to see the counter force is too much. You cannot replace the traders overnight. To gain entry into a market, there are already existing traders, already existing system, mafia system is there. To break that mafia system, it will take some more time. And Krishi Business Kendra, that is what we have suggested to the Nidhi Aayog as well as State Planning Board. Just like Krishi Vigyan Kendra for production extension, Krishi Business Kendra need to be developed as a state level apex body where the cafeteria of courses to develop the skill of the business skill of the farmer will have to be there around the year, and any board of director at any point of time, at any stage, they can go and opt for a particular course, undergo and come out. So that kind of skill, importing the skill is very, very vital, that challenge we are facing. And second, the active farmers. Out of 500 farmers, hardly 100 farmers are interacting with the company for buying and selling or in the business transaction. Their involvement is only 10%. Only when out of more than 50% of the farmers interact with the company and then become active farmers, then the awareness among the shareholders and awareness of the board, both will move forward to further strengthen the FPO. This digital market is the latest. Even the experts find it difficult to get into the digital market. NCDX, for registration for us, it took 3 months to trade turmeric, both spot market as well as future market. ENAM, National Agricultural Electronic Market, even within the state, the operational difficulty is there. The transaction is not possible. Whereas net-based marketing, app-based marketing, it has gone to some extent and create the business. So the digital market area, it is an area in which the FPOs are to be empowered further. We need further systems and schemes. We are demanding from both the central government and state government. And in Tamil Nadu, there are only 2 consortiums and 1 confederation. But in its place, several commodity-based federations should come. All the coconut farmers producer company will have to have a federation, coconut FPO federation, tapioca federation. Like that, commodity-based federation should come in. That federation will act between the government and the system. Says certain things companies straight away cannot deal with the government. So such issues can be rolled into government system by the federations. So that is what is wanted. And the present training system, including BIRD and so manage, NAM in all, 1-day training, 2-day training, it is of no use. It is of no use. So constantly, whenever the board of directors feels his deficit in particular area, he should fall back onto the system and get it trained and then come back. That kind of cafeteria of system will have to be placed instead of 1-day training, 2-day training, 3-day training modules. And most of the FPO promoting projects are time bound, 2-year, 3-year, 4-year. But this time boundary, so we work with, we form an FPO in 1 year, then 2nd year we travel with them, the 3rd year will come out. So it is left as an urban. Taking into consideration, the present 10,000 FPO system, it was 5 years handholding. So the CBBO or the RI will have to travel with the promoted FPO for 5 years. So till they reach the scaled up business stage. So that intervention the government has made and the funds have been split and spread accordingly. So this only in Maharashtra, there are 14 federations. In Madhya Pradesh, 21 federations, collectives of FPOs. But whereas in Tamil Nadu, there's hardly only 3 because there is no funding support for any consortiums or any confederation. To the extent funding support is provided for FPO, the funding support is not there for federations across the country. So federations, consortium will have to survey on their own. So suppose you want to develop a common logo for all FPO products for a state, all FPOs can make use of that logo to promote their product. Now, 1 district, 1 product, all the railway junctions are open now. FPOs can put a stall there and sell their produce across the country. ODOP material. So that way, the federation's role is to interface with the government and try to create an ecosystem, better ecosystem, or work for the betterment of the ecosystem so that the FPO can play very well with total efficiency. The Section 8 company, hardly 1, it is like an NGO. It cannot make money, it cannot share profit, and commercial element is there. One unfortunate thing is out of 247 resource institutions and CBBOs approved by, empaneled by Government of India, hardly 2 or 3 are commercial entities like Erode Fish Producer Company and Virudai Millet Producer Company. The rest are NGOs. That means they have strength in development domain and service domain, but not in business domain. So that's a great say. All NGOs they always talk about development and service, and then bringing some fund from there, some fund from there. We have pumped in so much. What about upskilling in the commercial side? What about the board of directors can take up their own business? That side, that weakness is still there. So the support system is unending. This is with reference to our state. Just to think of, money is being pumped in. Equity grant now in the present system, 750 farmers, each 20 shares of 100 rupees each. If they bring in 15 lakhs paid up capital, the government gives equity 15 lakhs. Equity. Apart from equity, there are a lot of infrastructure support, lot of other budgetary support given by the state government. Maharashtra government has gone to the extreme of pumping in money like anything. Whatever they demand, the money is given. Because it's already a commercial state. The farmers' awareness on commercial side is so good. That is why the takeoff is more. But whereas in the down south, in our state, this picture is dismal. Even in future, any program, any project, if it is given to the government, it is immediately honored, both central and state. The money is not the issue. Policy, it is well developed and they keep on refining it. Here, the private players come. Samanati, Ananya, people's, so many agencies now, they are pestering upon these FPOs to suck their blood. So initially, the first, in down south, in 4 FPOs, 18 crore money has been pumped in, and they have converted those FPOs into microfinance institutions. The CEO's role was to give 5,000 and then collect daily and then get back to the. So they give money to the FPO for 18%. This FPO will have to give to the farmers for 36%, double. So this kind of exploitation is going on. And when so much of money is available from the existing government system, even in the 10,000 FPO, up to 2 crores, if you avail term loan, there is no collateral. The company need not give any collateral. The individual director need not give any collateral. So beyond the 2 crores, if you want, then you can go to any of the nationalized banks, RBI approved banks. You name this, unfortunately, the Samanati, Ananya, this group, they have the knack of bringing some retired IAS officer into their board and see that it is pushed. So they have their own mechanism to get into this FPO system, and nearly 10 to 20% of the FPOs are being killed by these private money lenders. When so much of money is available from the government system, first let us exploit it, then go for private. In our system, we have created this for 105, and in this year we are making another 20. We never allowed any FPOs, our FPOs, to get into loan trap up to they ready for a scaled business. As long as they are in the pilot business, no question of getting loan from any bank, because in any agri-related activities, you just get 10% profit margin, it is good. You cannot get more than that. If it is an industrial good, for 5 rupees material, they will charge 500 rupees, then they can give so much of market advertisement and sell the product. But whereas it is not so in the agricultural domain. Here, hardly to get 10%, it is big margin. If you avail the loan in the early phase, in the infant phase, in the pilot scale phase, then you cannot pay the principal. The company will die at birth. So this is the major menace now we are fighting. But if we fight, they selectively target us. They selectively either they try to convince us by visiting team after team, and then if not, they see that you are finished. So that mafia is now working with the FPOs. They want to convert the whole FPO system into their microfinance systems in the name of giving credit support to the farmers at their doorsteps. Right. This sort of explanation, it was published in 2002 and 2013. But that time, all the stakeholders projected this type of questions. Is it possible? Is it possible? Is it possible? How come the poor farmers with divided mindset? So these are all the thousands of questions to pluck this phenomenon. But for the government, there is no other goal. There was somehow in one form or other, farmers will have to be consolidated. They will have to go for larger land. They'll have to go for one crop, one variety, and adopt a common protocol to generate uniform material fit for processing and fit for export. That is our target. So here, These are all quite natural because whenever anything is projected new, anything is projected out of context, this sort of issues used to emerge. Now the right answer is, let us see. Hero Depression Producer Company. It was incorporated 2008 when I was dean here. Now it is 12-year-old. And our transaction is around 15 crores. We have 5 different business units, and each unit is managed by different directors. And we are the resource institution, the first approved resource institution under a producer company. It's only ours in all India basis. Our investment is so good and return is so good. And our next business, what we are contemplating is something unusual and something innovative, that is senior farmers' home. So in Coimbatore, there are hundreds of senior citizens' home with all high investment, and it is a money spending industry. For the sake of one aged woman, abandoned women, we have church in the road. There are 14 senior citizen houses. All are houseful, and waiting list is beyond 150 in each. Say, having toiled in the field lifelong, and then abandoned by their own family, and then at the terminal age, the fellow should not suffer. So our idea is to go for rustic structure, a rural senior farmers' home, in which the aged farmers can be brought in at a nominal rate. Once if it is done, I believe the money will flow from national level and global level, and we have allotted land on lease for that purpose, and it is going to come. So that is our next project. Here, the management, the financial management of the company is a very, very vital issue. If it is transparent, nothing will happen. Any problem they will face, whether problem from the business, problem from the inventory, problem from the HR, problem from the finance, any problem from the government, any problem they can face. Once there's a doubt in the financial domain, then the mistrust will creep in and it will destabilize the whole teamwork. So in any, not only in our company, in all the companies which we have promoted, before taking the agenda, the CEO should present the account statement of the past month. So 10th of every month, it is board meeting. So legally 4 meetings are enough to honor the Company Act. But since it is in agriculture, we used to conduct the board meeting at every month. So before 5th, let us get the bank balance sheet. And then we have a book balance, and bank balance and book balance reconciliation. That will have to be done. What is opening balance, closing balance, and then this will have to be printed and given to the individual director, not reading. That means what is the productive investment, what is the non-productive investment, what is our business plan for the next 3 months, what we are going to do with the existing surplus, the whole thing can be discussed. So that means everyone is taken into confidence, and no one can point the money is lost because of him. They cannot point every other. This management system which we have introduced, it works well. There is no mistrust among the BODs. So that culture we maintain. Tamil Nadu Banana Farmers Producer Company at Puttiam. They have 5 solar dryer systems, and latest they have added steam-supported cold storage. Are you able to believe it? Steam-supported cold storage. 5 metric ton cold storage supported by steam generated with firewood. It cost 17 lakhs. It was experimented. It was successful, and they are going to extend it to rest of the FPOs in Tamil Nadu. And they are working with the government to get subsidy for this steam generated cold storage. So they manufacture solar energy. It is available in plenty, particularly in South India. It will have to be harnessed by every FPO. Every FPO will have to harness this technology. They are manufacturing around 12 value-added products in banana, and mostly they are sold in Amazon.in. And the major market is Gulf as well as Far East. The one Rautram Foundation from France, promoted by Sri Lankan Tamils, they came for a business negotiation. They wanted us to supply material regularly. Then there is a wisdom called village wisdom. Then I said, okay, it is good. Let us embrace it. Let us go for export. But those farmers, they put a plug. That is, sir, let them open an office in Madurai, sir. Let us give material to the Madurai center. If anything is to be rejected, let them reject here itself. 4 or 5 consignment they will pay. And 5th consignment, if they reject, then the cost of taking back is also ours. It will eat away the profit out of first 4 consignments. So that way, that means their skill, their business skill, it has gone one step further. So that way, now the materials are moving to Gulf and Far East. Those companies, they give their packing material. In Urdu, in various languages, it used to be there. Thing is, here it is filled and then it is sent to overseas. And with Google and Hindustan group, now they are experimenting the digital tools in the production, transport, packing, and dispatching. So if any conducted tour on FPO is organized, this banana company you can take into account. Palani Farmers Producer Company. The unique feature here is, apart from all other virtues, they adopt blockchain for production of 180 acres of red banana for export. So the blockchain, it ensures traceability 100%. So the all the stakeholders and the players, they're all linked in online. So whatever farmer do this day in the field, it is known to the end buyer some 6 months afterwards. So every player, what they do with regard to this crop, it is mapped digitally, and then in the open vision of every stakeholder, the produce is generated and transported and marketed. They are rich in value-added product in millets. They have got a vending vehicle at Chennai, at Tirupur. They have got a vending vehicle for dispensing at doorsteps. Their business model is good. The only company adopting this blockchain technology. Ayakudi, Goa. Say earlier, the farmer used to take their produce to Vattajatra market and beg for 10 rupees, 15 rupees, and go behind with the begging hands with the trader. Now, in the Ayakudi itself, they have created a space, 1 acre on the roadside. Morning 4:50, the harvest is done and then it is brought to the market, and buyers are now coming to this place. And through one of the exporters from Pollachi, we started exporting fruits to Gulf. That is, the fruit should be uniform. So instead of 200 fruits, thin the fruit, thin the flower, trim the tree, and see that only 100 fruits are generated. And then put a foam jacket and you let harvest with 2 leaves intact, so that when the buyer takes the material next day at the Gulf, you should feel that it is from the backyard right now. So that day we have fixed it. 2006 we have fixed 45 rupees as farm gate price. Now you cannot get Goa less than 60 rupees elsewhere in Tamil Nadu. So that credit goes to this company. Leaf and Bud Organic Tea Producer Company at Nilgiris. 3 directors are tea blenders. Say they know from which field, under which climatic condition the tea taste is good. So they used to collect those material and then through CTC process they manufacture it and blend it on their own. And now the pretty part is the trademark Kanus tea. It was trademark registered and it is being sold in NAFED Bazaar in 2,000 places in India. So NAFED has its own bazaar. that is like your departmental store they are conducting. So in all the 200 stores, this tea dust is being sold, unadulterated tea. And also in Tamil Nadu also, around 22 companies, they market this. That means a market network is being created. So for the hills, the companies from the plain, they supply groceries. Other than vegetable, nothing is there. So all the 4 hills from the plains. So this kind of synergy, networking among the FPOs, it is emerging fast. So that means wherever, in which point 1 rupee is earned, it goes to the farmer. The middleman role cannot be eliminated, but middleman can be eliminated. That role can be played by FPOs. Belliangri, Farmers Producer Company. Earlier, the farmers used to allot the coconut plantation on contract for 3,200, 300, something like that. Now, having incorporated this company, they have created a labor force, 25 fellows, and fixed the harvesting schedule 2 months once. And then for collecting one team, dehusking one team. Now the material directly dehusked nut goes to the Kangayam. Now in the Kangayam, they are looking for drying yards so that it can be converted into copra and stored for some time. And when price comes, the stuff can be sold out. Equally, they deal arecanut also in the same manner. Around 18 to 20 crore turnover regularly they do. Virudai millets. The Virudai is the place known for all kinds of adulterants. You give any material, food material, they have alternative, they have adulterant. There, this company generates pure millets and also black gram and green gram. They have imported 2 machines, one 45 lakhs and another 35 lakhs from Germany for fine processing. And they have got a global network for marketing. So their online market is too big. And in the next year, 2023, it is going to be the year of millets already announced. And they are getting themselves prepared to get into the global market. Around 2,000 families are being sustained by this company. The entire lot is being purchased at one go. And they don't, immediately they give part payment, and once the material is sold out, the patronage in the name of patronage bonus, they are paid back with a good amount of profit. The real livelihood benefit we can witness in this company. Ilupur Farmer Producer Company, the first company to go for desi poultry growing in the open field. In the 5 acre, they are having around 10,000 birds. With ease of maintenance and manage, and only the rice and millets they give as a feed material. The rest it takes care of itself. The demand is more for eggs, chicks, and also they have got a milk business also. The collection, put in the name of Patikad brand, the milk is being dispensed. They have a collection center and then they are dispensing. And they have got a rice mill as well as pulses processing mill. And the rice they are sending across the country. Number 1 in the country, Sayatri in Maharashtra, around 300 crore turnover and 25,000 farmers and 3 lakh consumers, and it's a monumental giant. No one will believe it is a FPO. Because of the nearness of port and other export houses in Maharashtra, they are flourishing like anything. I think in course of time, the entire FPO created, established in Maharashtra will be under this Sayatri umbrella. Just to get into the website and see what all they do. The processing means like a corporate. The production means like a corporate. The whole thing, the whole show is managed. This is a consortium of 45 companies in Tamil Nadu that also we are maintaining and managing. And the same interior, the same board, like any of the corporate retail market. And one company's product, the rest of the companies are marketing. We have an MOU between the buyer and seller. The terms and conditions are clearly defined, and that business is going on. This is FPO market at Chennai, wherein all the commodities, the retail sale is only 10%. The export order and internal order and order for bulk supply, this order collecting point, more than retailing, it is a showcasing and order collecting point. Say, this, what is to be done to further strengthen the FPO? This, I said, this agri-business center or Krishi Business Kendra. From the university, this agri-business center we have developed and passed on to the government. And the government gave us small money and put one of our professors as on deputation. And without further funding support, it is sleeping in the sleeping mode. That will have to be revived. So this KBK is a must for every state, or the MAFIP or EDIA or ABD. They will have to assume this role, the KBK role. Round the year, just like NIPTAM, round the year with the date, 1 day training, 2 day training, you customized training, you publicize it. So those who are interested in, someone may be interested in branding, someone may be interested in patenting, someone may be interested in packing, anything. So let them come, let them choose, and let it go demand driven. So till such time the state creates this KVK, the existing ABD and EDIA can play this role. Say, the government procurement in North Indian states, the procurement for PDS, public distribution system, it is assigned to FPOs. But in Tamil Nadu, it is not there because here the mafia team is behind and it is not allowed. And we are moving with the government at least to get 50%. And then the FPO federation. Then pan-India market portal is on the making. So that means buyer, only FPO can register as a buyer or a seller. And equally, the terminal market is coming at Sri Perumbudur, Chennai with a 300 crore investment. Government has already assigned the work and work has started. And for those terminal center, the FPOs can act as a hub, buyer as well as seller. And say Coimbatore market, you cannot go and enter. Whereas this terminal market with FPO hub, it can replace the Coimbatore market. It can draw more people than Coimbatore market into its umbrella. This group is strongly working, and that kind of business linking through web portal as well as said right now, each and individual FPOs are having small portal that is not visible. The hit rate is less, but if it's a national network, we are getting potatoes from Agra. 80% of the cold storage in India is in Agra. From West Bengal and UP, the whole thing comes to cold storage in Agra. When the price is 5 rupees there, here it is 25 rupees. So 2 companies from Mannargudi, we take terrace loads of material and store it in Trichy cold store and then re-release it after a few months when the demand is more. So that way, all India connect between FPO to FPO. Now it is emerging. If it gets materialized, then this setup will replace the existing trader system and merchandise system. In fact, from the Tamil Nadu Consortium of Farmer Producer Company, we have moved the Railway Ministry and Railway Amenity Committee through H. Raja is the chairman of that Amenity Committee. This project, and we sat with the Container Corporation of India, a subsidiary of Indian Railways. They have 3,000 crores of money with them. So it was pushed into the system and then it was discussed. And 2 years back, the government has announced the refrigerated train between north and south, east and west. Now it is available. The use is very much limited, but in course of time, All the perishables from the south can be transported to north, and from the north it can be transported to the south. And the loading of the wagons will have to happen in the field itself. The terminal Karpur and Agra we have fixed it. In Karpur, when the train reaches with 70 carriers, within 8 hours, the loading and reloading will have to be done, and the train will have to be, the goods route will have to be cleared. Just like express train, that was our earlier plan. Now the government has accepted and then allotted money also. Now 1 or 2 wagons are being attached in the regular express trains, but full-fledged train is going to come. Right, this is our subject. The university, how we are going to respond. Say chemical invasive agriculture, no more it is going to be viable because the consumers are health sensitive, consumer global, because of the COVID, the sensitivity has become sharp. Right now it is okay. In the future, just like certified system, if any contamination, the penalty and the punishment is the government of India is going to give. So how we are going to give safe food? How we are going to come away from the chemical intensive agriculture? It is not going to happen overnight, because traditionally now we are pumping in chemicals like anything. So it is the responsibility of the SAUs in India and ICR systems in India how to reduce the chemical intensive agriculture and go for pro-bio farming system. That means initial up to flowering, you go soil preparation up to flowering, you go with 100% bio. There you go for limited use of chemicals. That kind of new systems will have to come. And in course of time, right now, the FPOs are engaged in aggregation and marketing and value addition marketing. In course of time, even within 5 years, a scene will come in which each and every FPO will have to manage 1,000 or 2,000 acres on their own. They'll have to be in the field and adopt market-led production, and then professionally manage and then produce for the targeted market. Now it is within the money, they are being trained in doing business. In course of time, larger farms are going to be under FPOs, minimum 100 acres, maximum 1,000 acres. When the scenario emerges, how are we going to react? Are we not going to partner in this program? How we are going to relook? So dealing with the individual farm is different. Dealing with multi-crop is different. Dealing with one crop in larger area, plantation, it is different. Here also 50% perennials, 25% semi-perennials or biennials, and 25% annuals, and then your bird, dairy, animals, the whole thing packed. How are we going to respond? And then no more supply chain, no more value chain. Now you will have to look upon the blockchain management for each and every crop. Instead of nutrition, the toxin-free food production. This is on the development side. In the extension side, this Krishi Business Kendra. Now the FPOs will demand paid extension. I'll pay for a technology you give me. If your technology don't work, then you will have to pay me 10 times more, or I will show you in the court. So that scene is emerging. And then technical empowerment. Let us start. It will have to start in the R&D institutions only. How best we can prepare the entire precision farming project over 3 years. The final lesson we have learned, the success was because of the preparation of the farmers. That Muthuvel knows about it, and the people who have worked as SRF, so many people are here. They know about it. Without preparing farmer, whatever may be the quality input or quality technology, it is of no use. We have quality inputs, we have quality technology, we don't have quality farmers. Quality farmers, I mean the farmer with managerial skill. Not only management of money, but management of technology and management of quality inputs. That managerial skill will have to be given focus from here now under R&D setup. And then the conventional research, let it go. We cannot interfere as of now. It's a global phenomenon and we are allowed to be part of it. But farmer participatory operational research is a must. Whatever research you do in minor plots, you put it in few acres. Let us get the feedback from the field. We are releasing rice varieties in hundreds. Are we ever tested those rice with cook and caterers? They say, if I put 1 kg, the output is this much. If I put this kg, the output is that much. Their evaluation is in different angle. That is why majority of our variety fails. So if it is farmer participatory operational research, the research is being conducted in the open eyes of the farmers. So all critical observations will come and we are there to react. And then revalidation of the traditional wisdom. ICR has published 7 volumes. It is available in the library. 7 volumes of traditional wisdom collected across the different states, and it is a compendium available. You get into it. It has enough material for all the disciplines of the university. That needs to be validated. That needs to be commercialized. So much, it is like a gold mine. Get into that. See, bring something. You patent the technology and sell the technology. The afternoon we have been discussing about technology value chain. For that technology value chain, the revalidation is a handy tool to work with. And graduates. Say earlier we have been generating graduates for extension. Syllabus was oriented like that. Then for R&D, the syllabus was redesigned, oriented. Now there was a stage when agri-business sector demanded graduates to pursue business. So on that context only, the BTech horticulture was proposed when a board of studies meeting was held at Periyakulam. That time Dr. S. Kannayan was the vice chancellor. He didn't receive it in right sense. Then after a few months, he called. You were telling about BTech horticulture, how it is different from regular course, you tell me. And I said, 50% science, 2 years science of horticulture. Another 2 years, technology management. 50% staff from the academic domain and 50% staff from the industry. Let it be self-finance course and self-terminate course. No MSc, no PhD. So those who are undergoing this BTech degree program will have to become an employer, an entrepreneur, not an employee to any of the company. That was the basic design of, then it was accepted. It was there for some time and somehow it was the first BTech program created and then biotech and rest of the, that means the demand from the industry, agribusiness industry was surfacing, that university was responding to that. So that way, from now on, at least 50% graduates of any SAU across the country will have to generate human resource to get into this agri-business sector. Right. I think time is up. I don't know whether things were arranged coherently, whether the flow was all right to give to capture what exactly is the FPO and how it is being handled now and how it is going to develop in the future. So any issues for discussion?
Good evening, sir. I am Subramanian, head of nanotechnology, and truly very impressive. This is one of the best presentation I ever heard.
Oh, okay.
I am online.
Please.
I am online. I truly enjoyed your presentation. In fact, you presented the seminar in such a way that how a common man will understand FPO, the genesis of FPO, the problems faced by FPOs, solution we also provided, success stories is one of the fantastic presentation. I like the most. So I have two questions, sir. FPO is considered one of the successful model you demonstrated 15 years ago in the precision farming, and still we consider as a reference for us to take forward. If you look at the success stories of FPOs compiled by NEBARD, it is not quite encouraging. There are lots of problems faced at the grassroots level. The problems you already explained, but the few success stories you mentioned about Ayakudi, Goa producers, mango producers in Krishnagiri, banana producer, Ajitan and others, they are all success stories. But there are few out of 1,000 FPOs, maybe they are all very handful. But there are a number of issues at the grassroots level. I don't know how we are going to address it. In the digital platform, certainly the finance could be made 100% transparent. Certainly, transaction could be made digitally and everyone knows what is happening. So I think a digital platform may resolve certain issues, I suppose. So that is the question number one. Question number two, precisely, this seminar is organized how TNAU would benefit out of your presentation. I think the vision of the Vice Chancellor is that 100 units will select 100 FPOs so that we'll be connected to 1 lakh farmers, and the technologies developed by TNAU will reach 1 lakh farmers at a time. So that is the way it is done. So how exactly this initiative will be fruitful in a year from now or 3 years from now? So I have only two questions. Kindly address this.
I think your questions are very valid. So any new initiative, any innovative initiative, it will have plethora of issues to be addressed. So it is on the making. It is not attained the wholesome stage. It is not in the matured stage. It is at the infant stage. Some are matured stage. Some are almost scaled up. Hardly 2%. They are all fully matured stage. So it is only a question. It's an evolution. Overnight, it will not happen. It will have a cascading effect. So some 10 FPOs today performing better means tomorrow it will have its own cascading effect. And say earlier I said 2002 to 2013 and 2020, it was kaleidoscopic. Allowed all the implementing agencies to play and plan and design on their own. But now, in the 2020 10,000 FPO program, the essence of learning were combined and then put into this template. Say after 5 years, then we'll have to look back, learn lessons out of this 5 years in the present template, and the refinement is forever. It will let go. It is not. There's no end for it. The refinement should go simultaneously to what extent the refinement takes place, what speed the refinement takes place. Soon the FPOs will become wholesome and effective.
Okay, sir. The question which I raised for the TNAU specifically, as Dr. Suresh Kumar was indicating at the beginning, we have chosen 100 FPOs. These 100 FPOs, each FPO will have 1,000 farmers. So at a time, we could connect with 1 lakh farmers in Tamil Nadu. That's a good initiative, actually. So what is going to happen in 1 year from now? These 1 lakh farmers would benefit out of the interventions of TNAU. What is the likely thing that will happen?
So the purpose of TNAU and FPO link is the FPOs are new clientele, new commercial clientele to the university. And the university is expected to address the issues for the new clientele also. So this platform gives the perfect place for the experts or professionals to understand the problems of the FPO, and the FPO members and the farmers will have to understand the intricacies of the new technology and the new venture. It is joining hand to go together.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. I request the organizer to make this presentation as a YouTube so that almost all the students would benefit. Because I don't know how many of watching. So the YouTubes can be shared across the state for the students, scientists, and others. I think it's an excellent presentation, sir. And this would be a lecture in most of the courses so that the students would understand how they become entrepreneur. Thank you, sir. Thank you for an excellent presentation.
See, ultimately, it is the question of empowerment. To what extent you have empowered the farmers technically, economically, and socially? That is end of it. Are the FPOs are moving towards achieving these three destinations? So this is the roadmap. We will have to travel, and whatever shortcoming, whatever setback, whatever positivity, and whatever negativity, we take it in the stride and go with this process. It's only a process under refinement. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I am Dr. R. Salvadi Iswaran, Professor in Department of Social Science, Horticulture College, Trichy.
Okay.
Sir, thank you, sir, for having given a phenomenal presentation, an outstanding presentation. You have just clearly brought out the genesis of FPO and how the FPOs are game changer in today's agricultural scenario. And really, it is very, very useful presentation. I request the Dean SPGS to share this recording to all the deans of the constituent colleges. All the undergraduate students should listen to this, because currently final years are in Rawe, and first year and second years are in the mid-semester examination. They don't have an opportunity to listen. All the PG and PhD students and all the scientists of TNAU in general, and in particular, all the 100 scientists who are leading the TNAU FPO linkage program should listen. And you are making a historical point that how it makes a game changer, and given in an outline of all institutional hurdles, how it evolves all the institutional hurdles, and what is the marching towards, what is the goal towards the federation of all FPO and gaining a competitive advantage in Indian export scenario. And one point which actually the farmers lack is, even though they are organized through FPO, that lacks of market information and market intelligence. What is the price prevailing in other states? But I think
make
you
your
can
questions
suggest something.
simple and
Yeah. You can suggest. Can you suggest something so that the farmers, all the FPO, can gain the competitive advantage, market information and market intelligence across the country?
It is not the question of university giving market intelligence. It will be demanded and it will be paid.
Yeah, I understand. There is some institutional mechanism to arrive at it.
Yes.
So online participant, please put your questions in the chat box. We can easily, the speaker can easily answer your questions. Thank you. So any questions from the audience here?
Right person. Sir, we are blessed to hear your presentation, sir. It's wonderful, sir. Amazing. So now many times the FPOs, since we are giving the capacity building training at the DABD, the communal leadership is playing a significant role, sir. So that decides the success of FPOs in many cases. So how we can address that issue, sir? Your suggestions.
Leadership?
Communal, because the village leader is taking the head of the FPOs, and as long as government support was there for CEO placement and all, later on they employed the CEOs. Everything.
Your question is well received. So nearly 90% of the FPOs were created in the previous ADMK regime. Having changeover in the government, this fight is terrible. This fight is terrible. These were very, very silent directors. Now they have become vociferous and try to take over the company. There are two situations. One, agriculture department forming the FIG and then handing over to marketing department, and marketing department making the company. It's nearly 50% of the companies are like that. The rest of the 50%, the RIs, they work with the grassroots level farmers and establish FIGs of their own, and then incorporate the company. So in the second 50%, as RI, we know which village is notorious and which person is notorious and which person should be given a position and which person should not be given position. That was possible. Whereas in the collective farming system, nearly 50% of the FPOs falls in this category. There, your points, not only the political influence, but also social, communal, and so many other issues used to crept in. We learned a bitter lesson by doing panchayat with the board. One issue has gone to High Court. Another issue is still pending at the municipal court at the Salem. And as RI as a whole, all the RIs as a whole, we have a forum. We have decided a policy that not to go and sort out the issues between the board of directors. You try to kill each other and come, anyone you come out, it is your lookout. So when you come together, we take your hand and walk along. If you fight in yourself, it is not our role to come and sort out your issue. Suppose if you take sides with one person, assuming he is a good, in no time he will become bad. Then the other person will become your friend. So the board issue, directors cannot be by force sent out. If you want to send out a director, you'll have to create a record, an FIR or court verdict or evidence for financial fraud. Then only AGM can terminate the service of a board of directors. That is legally. On your own, you cannot. Then what we used to suggest, let all the board of directors are not bright and equal to walk along. Only 2 to 3 bright persons will do. The rest, silent workers, it is enough. So that way, we are taking a least trouble path. So it is a social issue. This problem is going to continue forever. Even in matured FEO, this element is there. But there is yet another system we are introducing now. Every second year, 2 directors are moved out and 2 directors brought in. We follow Rajaraja Cholan system. Say all the 10 directors will sit together and identify some 5 direct designates. Then out of 5, you put lot and then take 2 in. Then put the names of all the 10, take 2, send them out. Even if he's a chairman, even if he's inevitable, he'll have to give place. So here, there won't be any heartburn. Every 2 years, if you follow this system and roll the board of directors, you change it, there won't be any heartburn. Because when the company is formed, that social stigma is not there. Once somebody started calling chairman throughout all social functions and all, if the chairman post is removed, then he feels somewhat abandoned. So we have placed this system.
So thank you, sir. Now I request our former Vice Chancellor, Dr. C. Ramasamy, sir, to give the concluding remarks.
I want to see the people. So good evening. I am not going to take much time, don't worry. And my purpose of coming here is I have a goal to get updated in the market system now, the new institutional environment that is emerging and growing. So that is 300% fulfilled. Many of you, the presentation, you must have listened to Dr. Feroz Revi, may be surprising the way he used to present, but for me it is not surprising. And all along, he has that wonderful, the capability to, he must have gone to MBA and, must have become a MD of a big company, would have been much more, successful. Okay, I just take a few minutes, one on this concept of collectivization. That is the core element, all these, institutional development. Then number 2 is markets and prices. Then I will come to 1 or 2 minutes commenting on the presentation. This basic, theory of whatever you call it as farmer producer company cooperatives, all these started with human civilization. Then people were hunter gatherers, they were individual. Then at one stage they realized we have to come together, they particularly shifting cultivation and that kind of thing. And then they come and pool in one place and then do some shifting, you cultivate together, and then comes the marketing. For they cannot sell in their own place, market emerges, and the barter system comes in. That is a kind of another institutional development. So if you go on like this, out of necessity, these new institutions comes. I don't remember exactly, sometime in 1840s, there is a big freeze called. What is happening in now North America, huge snow system, and people are tied up in their own home. And this made, it is a little bit prolonged period, then people have to come out, many wage earners, small farmers, now they have to organize something like this. So that is how in Germany, Raiffeisen developed this cooperative, that he is the father of cooperatives. Then he developed this, and then it spread to, of course, America also. How horticulture flourished in Florida and California is because of some kind of, cooperatives. Then cooperative got transformed into producer companies. Even now this Florida citrus industry is flourishing because of this kind of model. Similarly, California also. Then, of course, milk production and other things much blossomed in those days. So, of course, after independence, India also ventured into cooperatives. I think Nehru is a great believer of this collectivization. He starts at every village, you have this village primary cooperative society with finance as focus, loan, some amount of marketing. Then came the consumer cooperative also. This has stagnated, but there are success stories like what has happened in Maharashtra, Mahagrapes, and then the Sahayatri, which Professor told about, and then of course finally Korean model. I have always repentance that he was not properly recognized. He must have been given 10 Bharat Ratnas, because this milk production distribution system really halved down the poverty in this country even today. Actually, now we have, of course, private sector also. So that way, these institutions really have helped. This is one part. Then number two is these prices and markets. This is always a problem. When I was studying in 1965 to 69 BSAG here, that was a period of technology development. We are listening to the radio for ADT varieties and co-varieties and so on. Then it becomes 70s. Of course, we have to, 60s, we have to import from US on PL 480, and 70s came, and that is where this is very much realized. Partly 60s, C. Subramaniam realizes that he forms the agriculture prices comes in 1965, so that minimum support prices can be, that was started in Chennai, then later it was is shifted to Delhi. Now you call it a CACP. There is a big project going on in economics department. This is happening in 2021 places to fix price. Okay, still price is a problem. Our MSP is a problem. Of course, whatever he has done here is mostly applied to horticulture, plantation crops and products like milk. But for field crops, still, of course, there are scope, but still we have a problem, right? So when in 70s, we are arguing about MSc. In 2021, we are arguing about MSB. In 2100, they will be arguing. This situation is very difficult. What I am trying to say is market is very difficult. We used to study price spread. What is the percentage of consumers' rupee in the farmers' income, all those things. Okay, then coming to the market, this is one of the models, definitely. Is a development of institution to promote marketing. And my argument always would be you promote different kinds of markets. Only farmer producer companies, not only solution. Definitely see weekly sand is, you must all, many of you come from villages, what is its contribution. It is you get everything there in a shandy. Our villagers go with 2 bags of cotton, sell it, buy a arval or kottu or anything for that matter. That degenerated over years. That is to be supported in a very big way. There is it has a different clientele or customer. Like when Reliance came, people were crying about Corona stores. Now Corona store exists, large supermarkets also exist. That way, we have to promote that. Of course, cooperative getting transformed. Still in certain sectors, cooperative is very successful in Maharashtra and milk and this kind of thing. And definitely we aimed for terminal markets. I think Professor must be knowing when Veeravandi Armum sir was the agriculture minister, we planned and one terminal market is to be started up near Sulur also in the state seed farm where we have a, many discussions. So all kinds of markets, whatever market must be there. Then related market must be there. This is one of the model where we have to make it more successful. So there will be a variety of diversity in marketing to cater to the needs of. So every type of model or a model is to be promoted. That is what my view. So that way we have to still go a long way in this, this farmer producer company also. Really, what is the kind of percentage of success? That is, we have to really look into. So finally coming to the, even, if you go to political evolution also, like Karl Marx, it is nothing but a collectivization. He asked, that means you sell your labor in a unified collective way. So countervailing power comes in. This is how, our civilization taken place. So finally, as I already told you, this is extraordinary presentation. Nobody could see a person when he really make a presentation, he must have a holistic view. You must have a philosophy, you must have a concept, then concept in the form of action program, action plan of action, then action can be implemented. That is where different players come in. As he told, convincing different departments in the government or convincing the, where accessibility to the policy makers is itself a problem. See, this presentation must be presented to from the Director of Agriculture, Horticulture to APC to everybody up to Prime Minister Modi. Unless we sensitize his policy makers, it's very difficult. So that way, conceptually, philosophically, practically, legally, everything is covered. I don't have much to say that because I know what Professor E.V. is as when he, proposed this prison farming. In the initial, I was totally in the dark. As progresses, he evolves. So everything we are all giving, background support. I think some of the field orchids are here in that project, Muthuvel and others. So that way, he has the knack of practical that is implementation. So when I was in the L-Farm affairs, two major projects promoted this one and also the rice intensification system SRI. That actually in the implementation, after some time it failed because people were not. Still, it is the one of the best system without increasing your area and through yield increase, definitely we can meet the future growing demand. Then finally, of course, in economics, students of economics, people may know, we have supply side and demand side. Demand side will always be a kind of constant, except special occasions. Say in Christmas, there will be more demand for some meat, something that will be a spike, then it comes down. But supply side is always a problem. So it is one of the approaches to manage the supply side. Okay. Finally, as usual, Professor E.V. has his own bias of non-chemical agriculture, but I don't agree with that because I am a student of Green Revolution. I believe in HIV, I believe in chemical fertilizer, I believe in irrigation. These are the three factors what it has made lakhs of acres saved because of the yield increase. Okay, that is one thing. But I am not against biofarming. We have to promote that. Recently I developed a kind of theory. I made this concept both in two memorial lecture on in Delhi, recently on Bhubaneswar. See, if you ensure efficiency and equity in any activity, sustainability comes. See, but for the high yielding varieties, we would have brought 3 times more the area now required to cultivate. So this is efficiency. For every input, 1 unit input, how much output increase? Okay, that is number one. Equity, once you cover the small farmers and others through this model, definitely sustainability comes. So now you are throwing chemicals through what do you call this, the drones. So it through sensitivity, sensor, it absorbs, it captures the depth of moisture. He followed in precision farming, etc. So now our application of chemicals have sharply come down. Once you promote the high-end technology, automatically that will come down. On the bio inputs in quantity is the problem. So you have to ensure the quality, and definitely the volume of these bio manures, how you are going to handle, will be a problem for another 50, 100 years. So we have to move in that fashion. Then finally, I think one lesson the TNAU has to draw from this presentation is you give 6 months certificate course for whoever interested on precision farms, this farmer producer company, because now recently I presented a seminar to students in this Gujarat University, Junagadh, about the employability for the agriculture graduates. See, once you train this, they are going to have, say, 10,000 farmer producer company. You see the kind of employment. That is where is self-employment. So this is where we have to really change our curriculum, etc. When I was in the helm of affairs, I sat down. You don't believe, I think, myself, Ilamurhu, Vengadachalam sat down for 300 hours to revise the curriculum. I brought 180 credits to 155 credit because 30 additional credits, at least 10-15 courses added. He has to write 45 examinations within a semester. See, we have separated many things. You integrate, many other subjects. You divide the subjects into 2-3 parts and give us a separate course. It is not the way students will have time to digest and absorb. So that way, I think you have to, the other day, for your information, I was sitting with the Odisha Agricultural University VC. The agriculture commissioner, agriculture secretary came. He is an agri graduate. He worked in ICRISAT. He said, I said, some talk about the curriculum. He said, see, you cannot do away with these old people. That is Dean's Committee he was referring to. See, farm management, production economics, I gave a few series of lectures. The same syllabus I taught in 1978. I taught only 2 batches, a UG program in my career. The same thing remains in our, not, what I am saying, everything is like that. So unless you reorient it, how you are going to incorporate this organism, that is why we introduced, when we were together, we introduced science, technology, and management. This may be an optimum combination. That is why science course, tech course, and then a business course. We introduced 2 agri-business courses in UG, now that was removed. You need this kind of thing. See, unless you prepare the graduate holistically, when he goes out, it's a MPBS, again, when he goes out, he has an idea of all diseases or how to treat. When agri graduate goes, it is not like that. So we have to really go for a big ticket reform in our curriculum, and then maybe the BTech horticulture is one of the wonderful courses, and similarly we had with Cornell University. These are all buried over time. For whoever or whatever the reason, I think definitely we have to revive. And I again congratulate Professor Rivi for his excellent presentation. Thank you for giving this opportunity, and all the best.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I call upon Dr. D. Suresh Kumar, Director Cards, to honor Dr. E. VADIVEL by memento and shawl.
So now I request Dr. Kalarani Madam to hand over the memento to the guest. Now I request the Director, the Dean SPGS, to offer the shawl to the former Vice Chancellor. Now I request the Director Cards to hand over memento to the former Vice Chancellor. So thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you all for your patient hearing. So I really thank the Vice Chancellor and the whole and the staff of ARM cards and on behalf of School of PG Studies. I take this opportunity to thank the guest speaker, Dr. E. Vadivel, sir. Actually, I am paucity of time and words. I didn't have opportunity to thank for his achievement and contribution for the farming community. I am really grateful to you, sir, for being, contributed for the farm, because many of the farmers are still worshipping him as a god. I know that. So thank you, sir, for a wonderful presentation and for accepting our invitation and to deliver the guest lecture. So I really thank the former Vice Chancellor, sir, for his presence and concluding remarks. And what you were seeing, the development of the university is because of his efforts. Okay, so the university, he's always keen in the institution. That's the reason why he attended this lecture also. So thank you, sir, for your contribution for the courts as well as for the university. I thank the School of Postgraduate Dean for his opportunity, for this opportunity, support and finance for organizing this event. I thank the Director Courts for each and for his guidance and support for each and every step of organizing this event. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir, for your constant support with us. I thank Dr. Kalarani ma'am for creating this opportunity. She had the idea, first gave the idea to invite Dr. Sir, Vadivel sir. So really grateful to you, ma'am, because we had a wonderful lecture which is more relevant to the management discipline. I thank you very much for the opportunity given to us. I thank, especially I thank Divya, Dr. Divya, for her effort. Of course, it is very simple, but she worked for the finest of this event. Okay, so each and every step of this event. And I also thank especially the students because they are having examination tomorrow. Really, I thank the students for their presence in spite of the exam schedule. And also I asked for I regret that for your time and effort, time you spent in delivering, in listening to the lecture. Definitely, tomorrow exam will be very easy. So you please, please relax. Okay, I feel sorry for that. Okay, for your time. So and I really thank all the university staff, university officers, and the staff of TNAU for your presence and grace the occasion, because your presence definitely it makes very lively. I also thank all the online participants who made this event very lively and successfully. I thank each and every one of who's attended this program and made use of this program very successful. Thank you, one and all. I especially special thank to Dr. Vijayalakshmi Madam, really, and other staffs, who is interested and make this occasion very graceful. Thank you, Madam. Thank you so much.
you.